Ala Rasulillah. My brothers and sisters in Islam, this is a very important video. I have with me my brother Shefni from TIC, Toronto Islamic Center in Canada. Nowadays, you see the victims being called the aggressors, and the aggressors playing the victim. Subhanallah, if we look at the crimes committed against Muslims in the US, in Canada, we see Islamophobia, we see Muslims being targeted just for being Muslims. We see in Chicago, Illinois, a 6-year-old child stabbed 26 times by their own landlord in front of his mother. His mother was also stabbed. A 6-year-old child, Palestinian Muslim American child, was killed. And the man is charged with a hate crime. This was racially motivated against Muslims and Arab. Now you see the same thing in Texas. You see a Muslim woman who was stabbed to death, a pediatrician who had children. She was a doctor, she was helping people, she was killed. And we have our own incident that happened in Canada. In the Toronto Islamic Center, we had an Islamophobic attack. Now, obviously, until the charges are confirmed, we say allegedly, but we got CT footage. The man was yelling out that he's an Israeli. He was yelling racial slurs against Muslims. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
So on one night on Saturday, we were praying. The brothers just finished praying Fajr, and maybe 10 minutes after Salah, they heard some banging on the windows, the doors. So this masjid is in a very public area, and so we are used to different people with their different ways of expressing themselves. So we just thought someone banged the window and things. So we were instructed by police to inform them, call the non-emergency line. So we called the non-emergency line, and so while that's happening, some of the brothers, they went outside, and they seen a guy on a bike. He rode past them, said some slurs, spat in their direction, and continued on their way.
Racial slurs, homophobic slurs.
So he said things like, so for some reason he said, "You Arabs, we're gonna finish you."
That's a hate crime. I mean, that's pretty hate motivated.
Yeah, and subhanAllah, the spitting as well. For some reason, spitting. I remember the police, he was mentioning that spitting is something that spitting at someone. They look at when it kind of determines the motive behind things. But subhanAllah, we wish that was the only thing he did. He ended up, so the brothers were waiting outside just after Salah. Some of the brothers like to congregate, like many masajid, and he came back again with a huge rock and hurled it at one of the brothers.
We actually have CT footage of this, right?
Yeah, so there's CCTV footage of this.
Let's watch some of that footage. So we see it very clearly. It was a targeted attack against a masjid. I mean, we see him come back, throw a rock, try to injure people, say things. Why is this not on CNN or Fox or BBC? Why? I mean, imagine if at the same time a Muslim had gone to a synagogue, called them anti-Semitic names, threw a rock at them, kicked it, came back, made those kinds of threat. What do you think the media coverage would be?
So someone would not have to go through all, we didn't even have to throw a rock in order for it to get coverage like that. But, subhanAllah, like, for me though, what was really surprising was when the police ended up eventually getting there, he kept yelling that he was Israeli, as if this was going to be a defense against him. And you'll see that when he's asked...
Do we have recordings of that?
Yeah, there are recordings.
Let's watch some.
Because I'm Israeli! I'm Israeli!
Perfect, guys, stand back.
I'm Israeli! I need to leave because I'm Israeli.
So you can see...
So the man's Israeli, yelling at you, "You Arab, we're going to finish you," throwing a rock, kicking, hitting the masjid. But that's not the first time this man had done it, right?
No, so subhanAllah, and alhamdulillah, no one was as harmed as the other incidences. So we had one, so early in the morning, he goes up to a Muslim taxi driver, asks him, "Are you Muslim?" The brother confirmed he's Muslim, one of the uncles, and then he sprays him, and these police said a substance they were not clear
Like
what it
pepper
was.
spray or some kind of chemical spray.
Allah knows best, yeah, I mean.
So he attacked, first he confirmed, are you Muslim? And then attacked him.
Yeah, and then after that, later on in the, a couple hours later, then he goes up to a sister.
SubhanAllah, to a woman.
Yeah, to one of our sisters, and he says, he says some abuse to her.
Was she apparently Muslim? Like,
Yeah, she was muhajjaba, she was clearly Muslim, and she was attacked as well. Same thing with the spray.
Toronto police say this mosque was not the only target. That in separate incidents, 28-year-old Chandler Marshall attacked a cab driver and a woman wearing a hijab. Both were insulted, then sprayed in the face with an unknown substance. He's now facing 17 hate-motivated charges.
Alhamdulillah, like the thing is, we didn't know. We didn't know that he did all. We just saw as a random guy. But we did feel that when he went on his bike, because the thing was, after he threw the rock, he fled. And some of the brothers felt that he was going to come back again. So we ran after him. We looked after him. And alhamdulillah, the brothers were able to get him, restrain him, till the police finally arrived. But after a very long time. I'm just very grateful that no one was harmed. And the cowardly thing is, and as you've seen from the footage, all the brothers are facing away from the street, kind of find a way to get us from behind. And so it just speaks to how this person is and what he stands for.
So now he's been arrested and he's been charged with 17 charges or something?
Yeah, around 17 charges.
So what's interesting is I also noticed that when he was arrested, he broke the car window. Huh?
Yeah.
So what's interesting to me is that you look at all the Islamophobic attacks that have been going on, but this one's very interesting because the man, you can clearly hear him say, I'm Israeli.
Yes, I'm Israeli. I'm Israeli.
Perfect, guys, stand
I'm
back.
Israeli. I need to leave because I'm Israeli.
And then you see CT footage of him attacking the masjid particularly, calling out people for being Muslim, assuming they're Arab. And this is really not media coverage. So we hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this type of video will raise awareness of all that's going against Muslims. We know the atrocities that are happening in Gaza, but even in America, in Canada, we see these kinds of hate crimes being carried out against Muslims, and then Muslims are the ones being blamed. Muslims are being told in different university campuses and stuff that you're not going to get a job if you support Palestine, all those kinds of things. When people like this, understanding that system, would even say I'm Israeli, thinking that's going to get them out of even being arrested from committing hate crimes, serial hate crimes, because he attacked the brother, he attacked the sister, then he attacked the masjid. And subhanAllah, until I spoke to you, I had no idea this happened. I didn't see it on BBC, I didn't see it on Fox, I didn't see it on CNN, I didn't see it on MSNBC, I didn't see it on NPR. None of the major networks around the world have taken this up. But alhamdulillah that Allah protected you, brothers, and protected the masjid, and we ask Allah to protect you. And we ask Allah to guide this man. We want good for everybody. We don't want people to take the law into their own hand. We condemn people carrying out racially motivated attacks against anybody. But it's very interesting that when it's against Muslims, that media